What if spending 1.5 million on a HDB could give you better returns than a 3 million condo? Most property agents will never tell you this because they make more commission selling expensive properties. Imagine choosing between a 1.5 million Tiong Bahru HDB and a 2.8 million condo in a similar area. Everyone will say the condo was a smarter choice, but let's see the ROI later. The thing is, most people think more expensive automatically means better investment, but that's not entirely true. Before you assume a condo is always better than HDB, let me show you the numbers that might change everything you believe about Singapore's property market. In fact, I get that question a lot of times. When clients meet me, they will always ask me this question. So we always need to dive back to the numbers to see whether which one makes more sense. When we talk about loan, HDB loan is based on MSR, which is mortgage servicing ratio is 30%. However, we talk about a private property loan, it is based on TDSR, the total debt servicing ratio, it is 55% of your income. So based on these two, you already know that if you are buying an HDB, your loan will be lesser. When you are buying a private property, your loan will be greater. Let's say the household income is 14,000. For HDB loan, you are probably able to loan about 840,000. Thereabout, plus minus. However, if you are looking at a private property, you will be able to loan about 1.54 million. So the difference between these two, right, is about 700,000 in terms of the loan difference. Let's say combined CPF, you and your husband will have about 300,000 in your OA. And let's say cash, you all have about 200,000. So that's about 500,000 in totality. So when you add these two 500,000 plus 840, maybe the HDB you can buy is about 1.3 million plus. But for a private property, you are able to buy 1.54 loan plus 500,000. It gives you about slightly over 2 million. With this budget in mind, what can we afford and where do we want to stay? Because let's say private property, 2 million, let's say in the outskirts, Punggol Sengkang area. Maybe let's say we talk about District 19. District 19, let's say you talk about a private property or a resale EC, 2 million probably can get you a 3-bedder. Is it sufficient for you and your family to stay? And is this location ideal for your daily traveling, to your work, to your children's school? The way I see it is that when you talk about a 2 million private property, it is quite limited in terms of your choices. You are only able to afford a 3-bedder in the outskirts. And if you go deeper, right, into the nearest central area, probably you'll only be able to afford 2-bedder. So I feel that the choices are quite limited. With 1.3 million budget for HDB, you can almost look at any HDB of your choice. You will have more choices. Based on my experience, many times my clients will still opt for a bigger HDB or choose to have a change of location of their HDB. Only about 10-15% of my clients, they will eventually sell off their HDB and move to a private property. Number one, their income. Let's be honest. To move to a private property, your income got to be strong. Combined income at least got to be above 18, 20, that kind of range. I think it's comfortable. Secondly, it's a mindset thing. Let's say I met a client at Toa Payoh. Even he can sell off his Toa Payoh HDB at over $1 million, he will get a very good cash proceeds. When we go and talk about the monthly mortgage, they eventually will have a mind block. So for a 1.54 million loan, your monthly mortgage will be in the 6,500, right, based on 2% after deduction from your CPF OA. They will still need to top up about $3,000 plus of cash from their own pocket. And that's where a lot of people will take a step back because they do not want to use their own cash from their own pocket to pay for the monthly mortgage. Because they told me, Toby, we will still want to enjoy our lifestyle. Right? We will still want to go travel with our family. We want to have cash for our savings, children's tuition, shopping. So I do understand that, and it is very important. Over the past 3 years, I've helped over 160 families sell their HDB at the highest price in a short amount of time, leaving them with cash to spend even after their upgrade and renovations. If that sounds interesting to you and you are thinking to sell your HDB or EC, click the link around this video to see how I can help you. I feel that there is a misconception, right, that condo can make money, HDB cannot make money. I can tell you this is totally a myth. Doesn't mean you buy a condominium will guarantee you will make money. And also at the same time, doesn't mean you buy a HDB, you cannot make money. Because I have HDB owners upgraded to a bigger HDB, and when they sell, they will still be able to make very decent profit. It's really have to boil down to the product, meaning to say what we buy. And it's not just merely to put a blanket statement, say that, oh, buying a condo will definitely make me money. One of my clients, I helped them to sold off their Sengkang 4-room flat. I brought them to upgrade to an executive mansionette in Serangoon North. So that was only back in 2022. It was around 835,000. So in today's market, there was a unit just transacted at 1.097 million. So in a short span of 3 years, that owner actually made 262,000 in capital gain. In fact, when you talk about the numbers in totality, my owners that bought that EM rights down pay in totality about 220 over 1,000. So that profit right now is about 260. In fact, they make more than 100% of that ROI, return on investment. Okay, so let's say we use 2 million as an example. 2 million, your outlay, right, with your CPF and your cash and everything, is about 580,000. 580,000, let's say you make profits in the span of 4 or 5 years, let's say 230. 230,000 divided by 580 times 100, it gives you ROI of about 39.6%. So the ROI is about 40% if let's say you buy a private condominium. Whereas you compare to buy a HDB, that HDB gives you a ROI of 100%. So we cannot say that HDB gives you lesser ROI or buying a private property makes you more money. It's not entirely true. If you look at buyers with that kind of budget, 1.3 to 1.5, they want to buy a HDB, right? Honestly, you look at that buyer profile, they are very kind of savvy already. They will definitely look at central location for a 5-room flat. Let's say a 5-room flat in Tiong Bahru. Let's say it's 1.5 million. Is it a smart move or a stupid move? I would say that it still gives you a certain value. Why? Because number one, you are staying such close proximity to Tiong Bahru MRT, the shopping mall, and also the space, right? 1,100, 1,200 over square feet. As compared to that kind of size, private property in that vicinity, it will cost you about $3 over million. So a 1.5 million HDB or a $3 over million private property for the same amenities, for the same space, which one would you choose? So everyone got their own definition of how they want to spend their money. For example, the buyer that want to buy a 1.5 million HDB in Tiong Bahru probably will use the rest of the money probably for other investment, right? They can invest in stocks, invest in gold, invest in bitcoins, invest in their own business, whereas some people will not want to put a huge chunk of money to buy a 3 million condo. So it really depends on what is your need and what is your wants, and we really have to dive in and break it down to give a solution whereby which one should we choose. If this episode helped you understand HDB a little better, do subscribe to the channel. It really helps. See you in the next one.